a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968.
Yeah, this is the year, and the sprinklers spray the water right into the air and it fall back down naturally. That is also kind of a little Hollywood moment here in Midtown High.
I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
And these are picture credits that you see here on the left. A couple of them are from some Steven Spielberg films that he produced. Was for Jurassic World. That was built in a 2005 film, directed by Steven Spielberg. And the production designer for this was Rick Carter, who also worked with Steven Spielberg doing Jurassic Park. So they worked together before really creating these worlds. And here we are.
Nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky June Park. Over there, look into the Winking Well. Have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Share. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? What?
They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where the people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions. All
Not gonna happen! Don't worry, I'm not! Woman, don't shoot! Head from the bridge! Under construction! Everybody hold on! Hit the
Okay, so Ricky Wilson is right here. We're about to enter our front lawn that houses a majority of our 36 sound stages. Here on the left, this is Soundstage 12. It's one of our oldest and largest sound stages. Productions like Frankenstein, Dracula, The Bride of Frankenstein have filmed inside of that historic soundstage. And now for Halloween Horror Nights, there is a haunted house called Eternal Bloodlines, and it's going to be featuring some of those monster characters who are going to be in there. So it's kind of fun. You can really walk through some film history if you're joining us again here tonight for a separate event, the Halloween Horror Nights experience. I always like to point out these gates that are over here on the left, because that is where the tram that will get my attention. Remain seated, and I'll be by to help you when it's safe to do so. Otherwise, in the duration of the tour, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, legs, and feet, everything inside the vehicle at all times. And once again, if you just need any assistance, reach up and grab that red e-cord that runs along the center of the tram. No smoking of any kind on the duration of the tour, and be prepared. Our tour here today, it features sudden tram movements, fire effects, loud noises, and a lot of water effects. You're going to want to have your phones and cameras out to get some really great photos, but please hang on to them tight so you don't drop them, and please keep them safe so they do. Finally, for your safety and those around you, no use of selfie sticks while on board. All right, we're doing it. We are heading down our Universal timeline. It's going to pipeline us right to the heart of our studio to help kick things off for our 60th year with the studio tour. Here is the master of ceremonies. He's also the host of the Tonight Show. It's Jimmy Fallon.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Welcome aboard the world-famous studio tour. I know, why the tux? Well, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. That's right, 60 years of glitz, glamour, and our own great white shark. As we celebrate our diamond anniversary today, we'll pay tribute to Universal's past and take you behind the scenes to discover why this studio tour is world famous. So whether this is your first visit or your 60th, get ready for fun, excitement, and an experience like no other.
Thanks, Jimmy. There is some construction going on here on the left. This is for a roller coaster coming in 2026 called the Hollywood Drift Roller Coaster, part of the Fast and Furious So that's what all that is happening. You kind of see it's starting to look like a roller coaster. And you might have also noticed the posters that are over here on the right-hand side represent just a few of the thousands of movies that we have made, because we have been making movies here for over 100 years. March 15th through 1915, that was our official opening day. Carl Lemon, this gentleman you see right here, he wanted to open up the studio to the public for them to see the magic of movie making. He set out to open the strangest city in the world, a city dedicated to making movies. And just like any city, you have to have a fire station, right? So over here on the right, this is our fire station that is specifically for our studio and also for our movie studio. That's a real fire station, not a movie set. Everything else I'm going to show you here along the way movie sets. And so when Carl Lumley opened up these walking tours, movies were silent. So with the invention of sound, they had to end this original walking tour. But this idea of reviving the studio tour in the 1960s returned when the Gray Line bus tours took a stop at our gates. And then on July 15, 1964, the first of our red and white movies, right, Glamour trains is what they were called, took 67 passengers on a 2-hour driving tour. And the world-famous studio tour was born. We started with only 2 drivers and 2 guides and a ticket seller working on a trailer on Lancaster Boulevard. And you are now a part of our story too, as we take you into our lot, show you a little bit of behind the scenes, and get to share the magic of movie making with my friends every day. So thank you all so much for being here. We're about to enter our front lot that houses a majority of our 36 sound stages. Here on the left, this is Soundstage 12. It's one of our oldest and largest sound stages. Productions like Frankenstein, Dracula, The Bride of Frankenstein have filmed inside of that historic soundstage. And now for Halloween Horror Nights, there is a haunted house called Eternal Bloodlines, and it's going to be featuring some of those monster characters who are going to be in there. So it's kind of fun. You can really walk through some film history if you're joining us again here tonight for a separate event, the Halloween Horror Nights experience. I always like to point out these gates that are over here on the left, because that is the gates to the studio where celebrities come in to come over here to work. So you have people like Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, John Krasinski that come through those gates and then come right in here to work. We made it. This is our studio. This is our front lot. And this houses a majority of our sound stages. Sound stages that provide a completely controlled environment of light and sound. So filmmakers tend to do about 80% of filming inside of them. They also have a lot of flexibility. You can create any kind of setting that the script demands inside of these sound stages. These sound stages have been home, these particular ones have been home to productions like Superstore. They built the entire Cloud9 Superstore inside of these sound stages. They also filmed Hacks, HBO Hacks, which now is back for a 4th season that is streaming on HBO and has won a bunch of Emmys, just got nominated for even more. Gene Smart is a star of that. It's a really great show. And Bel Air filmed here most recently. And Bel Air is, they just dropped season 3 on our Peacock streaming service on August 15th. And the stars of that, Jabari Banks and Ollie Charlton, they're going to just tell you a little bit more about sound stages.
Leaving the theme park behind and entering the front lot where real Hollywood magic is made. How? Well, inside the sound stages that surrounds us, we can create any kind of environment the script demands.
For the past 60 years, studio tour visitors have driven right by these buildings, and inside these walls, the sets from your favorite TV shows and movies have transported audiences anywhere the imagination can take you, even to a palatial mansion in Bel Air.
When we film Bel Air, we love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by.
So, keep an eye out.
You never know who
or what
you'll see on the studio tour.
Yeah, that's right. You never know what you're going to see over here on our lot. And we just passed by a lot of costume trailers. Costume trailers and wardrobe trailers. There were some costume racks that were over there for production. So it's really fun that we're really getting back close and seeing not only people in front of the camera, but the hundreds of people who all work together to bring entertainment to life. And there is some more construction that's going. Well, it's not even construction; it's done. We're opening tonight for Halloween Horror Nights. There is the base right over one of the haunted houses is right over here. It's actually taking you into our lot, sound stage 15. And the upcoming sound stages, they have been home to a lot of television shows. So a lot of TV history has happened right inside of these studios. Shows like Jeffersons, One Day at a Time, Who's the Boss? And Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the first season, and Coach filmed inside of these sound stages. Now there is a production that is called Based on a True Story that is starring Kaylee Cuoco and Chris Messina. Kaylee Cuoco, she played Penny in The Big Bang Theory, so now she's working on another show that films over here in these sound stages. And just some more recent productions, we have shows like Never Have I Ever, the Netflix show by Mindy Kaling, filmed inside of these sound stages, and The Good Place, their interior scenes inside of these sound stages. Soundstage 19, that's over here on the right, they filmed some scenes from Oppenheimer. That is our 11th Academy Award-winning film for Best Picture inside of this one right here, Soundstage 19. They did the Oval Office scenes inside of here. So before we have our cast and crew assembled inside of these sound stages, there is an entire process that is called pre-production. And Ted is welcoming us over to our production bungalows. This is where pre-production happens. And Ted is also about to start filming season 2 that films over here on our lot. And pre-production is a process where they talk about the scripting, the casting, the budgeting before they even start rolling the cameras inside of our sound stages and our movie sets. And all those important meetings happen inside of these bungalows. We have some pretty high-profile production offices inside of these bungalows. We have Amy Pascal of Pascal Pictures. She brought us Spider-Man No Way Home and Enter the Spider-Verse. And Michael Schur, who brought us The Good Place, and also he's about to bring us A Man on the Inside, coming onto Netflix in November, again working with Ted Danson. We have Kevin Williamson, who brought us the Scream movie, so his office is inside of here. Mark Platt, he brought us La La Land, Dear Evan Hansen, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and his office is all the way there on the left with the Wicked bubble, because not only did he bring Wicked to Broadway, but he's about to bring it to the big screen this Thanksgiving, starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. So it's fun that his office is right there, you can see it along the tour. Here on the left, this is building 5195, and our iconic office. It once belonged to Alfred Hitchcock, and Alfred Hitchcock is known as the master of suspense. And that office is now home to the De Laurentiis Company. The De Laurentiis Company, they brought us Hannibal Lecter films and also the television show. So it's a pretty good fit to have inside of that iconic office. These sound stages here on the left, they look a little different because the writers' rooms, the costume departments, are here in the front with the sound stages right behind them. Soundstage 25 is where they're filming season 3 of Lopez vs. Lopez with George Lopez and his real daughter, Mayan Lopez, and play a father-daughter in the sitcom. And St. Denis Medical films inside of Soundstage 26, that's over here on the left-hand side. It is a new comedy series that's coming out this November to NBC. And we're also, there's really fun films right over here. It's starring David Alan Grier and Wendy McLovin-Covey. Oops. I wanted to show you a little clip from that.
Hi, I'm David Alan Grier.
And I'm Wendy McLovin-Covey. And I'm Allison Tolman.
We're on the set of our new hit sitcom, St. Denis Medical.
You know, they say laughter is the best medicine.
You know, I'd say penicillin's a close second.
Naproxen sodium isn't too bad either. Sorry about that. But since we don't have any clips of actual medicine to show you,
That would make for a pretty boring tour.
let's laugh at some of the funniest moments from Universal comedy history.
I'm laughing already.
My back?
The new phone back there! The new phone back here! I went to answer the phone. I was gone a second. I came back in. He let himself out of the playpen, put on Scarface, and he glued his hands to the rum bottle. Okay?
So that was a fun little montage of all of the different Universal classic comedies and their fun one-liners. And we are entering now into our metropolitan sets. We made it to the back lot, which is where filmmakers film exterior scenes on a grand scale. And these metropolitan sets, they take up 4 acres of our studio lot, and they stand at 50 feet tall. And they use an optical illusion that is called forced perspective. So the higher up these buildings get, the smaller and smaller the windows get, giving the illusion that they're taller than they actually are. We've had some pretty fun movies that have filmed back over here in our metropolitan sets. We've had Transformers, the Michael Bay film, directed by Michael Bay, where Michael Bay is really known for bringing a lot of spectacle, a lot of explosions to his films, and Transformers is no different. And while they were back over here, Shia LaBeouf was running down these streets, setting off pyrotechnics, explosions that were going off as he was running. They had vehicles that were running right into buildings. And the reason that Michael Bay wanted to film over here in our metropolitan sets is because this offers a completely controlled environment to do those kind of high-stunt scenes. You wouldn't be able to do that in actual downtown Los Angeles without a lot of restrictions. So this is one reason why they wouldn't actually, why the flexibility that our metropolitan sets offer. Captain America, the First Avenger, they made this in 1948 New York in that film. And when they were filming Captain America, they actually did still have this building that's over here on the right that is a glass and metal building, which really doesn't fit a 1948 time period. So what did they do with this building? They actually put a green screen over the top of this, and then they inserted an image of a barricaded building, so that way it kind of camouflaged that this really, they camouflaged the modern-looking building. But then again, this building can offer that flexibility to filmmakers. If they do have a modern set, where they need a modern setting, that building is there and available for them. They used it in The Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield. They made that the building in Oscorp, and they, again, used a green screen, but on the top, and then made it look like it was a big skyscraper. Speaking of Spider-Man, we got Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi film starring Tobey Maguire. They actually utilized this theater that's over here on the left with the green trim when Peter Parker is trying to go see Mary Jane in her play, The Importance of Being Earnest, and then he gets turned away. That happened right over there. They also had a pretty fun scene that was filmed over here in our metropolitan sets where they rebuilt a building and then set it on fire, and they did some stunt work. And they had Peter Parker save a baby from a burning building, but then the baby ends up saving him. That happened over here in the metropolitan sets. American Ninja Warrior is a reality competition series that actually builds their obstacle course going all the way down New York Street. So a lot of flexibility that is available with our metropolitan sets. Where we're heading to next is a bit more of an exotic part of our studio tour. To tell you more about it, here is Academy Award-winning director Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up into the energy. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island. It was great. Right. Now we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet. Just put them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
That's right, adventure awaits us here in Skull Island. Things are about to get pretty bananas inside of this experience. So just please make sure that you're holding on to your loved ones and your belongings are all secured, and no flash photography intends to upset the wildlife.
The Universal tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing the visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife in Skull Island. In a sense, this is like a mini sequel, a mini continuation. We're just taking the Kong and Skull Island and the dinosaurs that we established in our feature film, and this is another day, another incident on Skull Island, using the creatures and the character and personality of Kong as he appeared in the movie.
And that last image of King Kong, that was CGI, computer-generated imagery. And the original King Kong that inspired Peter Jackson to direct, it actually was an 18-inch puppet was what they used for that. So very different technology. But this really blew audiences away when audiences saw this in the mid-30s. They had never seen anything like that on the big screen. Just like you are about to see King Kong, like you never experienced. We made it. Welcome to Skull Island. was a little refreshing. And our unexpected hero, King Kong. I know, he saved our entire tram, and also car 5. So if any of your party was in car 5, it looks like King Kong saved them. Maybe just check with guest relations, they might have them on awesome day. So that experience was created by Peter Jackson and the team over at Weta FX. Weta FX is formerly Weta Digital. They're one of the largest special effects and animation companies in the world. They won 7 Academy Awards for their work, working on movies like Avatar, The Way of Water, The Last of Us that came out this past summer, and Alien Romulus that's in theaters right now. Those screens are some of the largest in the world at 40 feet tall and 180 feet wide.
A project like a studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions, there's creatures coming at them, they're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where people are looking. They're looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This tram represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels was into the theater. It's a hell of a lot.
There was Peter Jackson writing his attraction of King Kong, and whenever he does come to visit the park, he always makes sure to give that attraction a visit. Has to make sure that everything is still the way that he envisioned it and wanted it to be. And in that car that got pulled into the King Kong experience were some of the animators from Weta FX, and also Peter Jackson's kids. You know, it's a good thing King Kong saved them, so they're all okay. And King Kong was played by an actor, a very talented actor named Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis, he also played Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, also directed by Peter Jackson. And whenever he's not wearing his digital suit, whenever he's in his human form, he was in 13 Going on 30, he was the boss in that. And then he also was in Andor, the Disney Plus series, had a really great guest spot in that. So a lot of range from Andy Serkis. Speaking of King Kong being a famous monster, check out our monster mural over here on the right-hand side. This is showcasing our iconic monsters that put us on the map and really cemented us as the home of the monster movie classic. Now this mural, it was created by Tristan Eaton, and he created this entirely out of spray paint. And the inspiration came from the monster movie posters and also the props and set pieces that they took out of the vault for Tristan Eaton when he was creating this. And The Voice is filming over here today, and their soundstage is over here on the left in soundstage 30 and 31. They do the live audience rounds over here, the blind rounds, and they have some fun new judges. Snoop Dogg and Michael Bublé are joining Reba McEntire and Gwen Stefani. So it's going to be a really fun season. Here's Snoop Dogg tell you a little bit about what's going on.
Hey, Studio Tour. It's your boy Snoop Dogg. Did you know that the Universal Backlot is home of The Voice? That's right. We tape right here on Stage 31. Don't miss our incredible new season every Monday and Tuesday on NBC. Hello. Now that you've heard the rest, you can hear the best. Look at me with the S and have this on your chest.
Snoop joins The Voice Monday, September 23rd on NBC and Peacock.
In front of the sound stages for The Voice, there's a body of water that is called the Hollywood Ocean. And the Hollywood Ocean is home to my personal favorite monster movie that was filmed on the Hollywood Ocean. The Creature from the Black Lagoon was filmed right there 70 years ago. This film is now 70 years old. It came out in 1954 in 3D, and that was a specific reason because filmmakers were trying to get audiences to come back to the theaters. They had some pretty big competition, television, and they were trying to figure out how do we get audiences from their living rooms and into theaters, and 3D was one way that they were trying to navigate that. And the makeup from the for the creature from the Black Lagoon. It was designed by one of the very first women who did special effects makeup. Her name is Millicent Patrick. She was also one of the very first animators for Disney doing Fantasia. And speaking of monsters, we are about to go to the home of our monster movies. No passports required, as we are about to enter Little Europe. Now, Little Europe has been home to classic monster movies like Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff, Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi, also the Spanish version of Dracula that utilized the same exact sets for the English version of Dracula, and that one was starring Carmen Villalobos. And our Little Europe sets, they have transported audiences all over the world, and they never have to leave this area of our lot. And the way that we can accomplish that is by changing language on the signs and changing the flags, and you're in a brand new country. There is some signage that's left over from other productions. There's some Italian that's over here on the left, also in this little cafe. And this building that's over here on the left with the double blue doors, this was a yogurt shop that took audiences to the afterlife. Here, check it out.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Yeah, the exterior sets for The Good Place were filmed over here in our Little Europe sets. And eating frozen yogurt on a day like today sounds wonderful, but if you're filming, it doesn't really sound very practical because oftentimes shoot dates tend to run about 10 to 14 hours long. Scenes you film over and over again, going back to one. So eating something like frozen yogurt, that would melt by the time that you were done filming a scene. So what were they eating on The Good Place if they weren't eating frozen yogurt? Mashed potatoes. Yeah, mashed potatoes on the set of The Good Place. Doesn't really sound too great on a day like today, but but for practicality reasons, it was a good option for them to use. Because of the fantastic, the kind of fairy tale-like feel that our Little Europe sets offer, they've been home to productions like Princess Diaries 2 or Royal Engagement. They made this the fictional country of Genovia. And Cinderella, the Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella that filmed over here. Okay, this is cool. We just got granted access to one of our sound stages. This is Soundstage 50. They are filming in here today, but they did give us the okay to come check this out because it looks like the cast and crew has just stepped away for a moment. So this is what we call a hot set. A hot set just means that they want to keep everything exactly the same for when they come back because everything is set exactly the way production wants it to be. And they don't want to ruin what's called the continuity. Continuity is just keeping everything the same from each shot to each shot. And the script supervisor. Okay, just a little timer, friends. Remain seated and way recently underwent a little Hollywood makeover. We had it closed for almost a year. That way we could update a lot of the film equipment you saw in there and just the subway station, just to bring everything up to the modern day, to the 21st century. And we just opened up this past May, so you did it! You survived our new and improved earthquake. And that takes us to the halfway mark of our studio tour. Just a reminder, friends, to remain seated on the duration of the tour, and that ready cord is there if you happen to need any assistance at all. Thank you so much. They're doing some production that's over here in our western sets you're seeing here on the right. This is the New York Film Academy, and so those are the filmmakers of tomorrow right now that are working on their projects for school. So it's really fun to kind of get to see some future filmmakers that are out there working and creating entertainment. I know that it's pretty hot out, right? Yeah, it's a little bit warm. So maybe we should do something a little bit different. Oh, well, before we get there, let me just talk about a little bit of film history, where we're at right now. So I mentioned that Carl Laemmle originally opened up this studio over to the public in 1915. And actually around over here is where some of the original sets were in 1915. And they actually had 6 different sets for Westerns that were over here. The very first year that our studio was open, they filmed 200 Westerns in 1914. And the way that they were able to do that was by filming filming a lot of overlapping scenes, because they didn't have to worry about sound bleeding into each production. So audiences were able to actually get a really close-up view of filming. Now we don't really have that flexibility just because of sound and it's a lot different, the equipment that they use. So, but in 1915, they had a really cool opportunity for people to be able to watch silent movies being made. And they actually had bleachers that were set up around this area of our studio lot, and audiences were able to watch silent movies just firsthand. And they were able to do things like cheer for the good guys and boo for the bad guys. And they didn't have to worry about this sound getting into the movie. So it was a really neat opportunity that they had. But now the legacy lives on, because we're able to bring friends like you to go and watch, go and see our sets and see a little bit of behind the scenes action. Okay, it looks like, okay, cool. They did open up the beach. I didn't know for sure. They had the beach closed here for a little bit because there was a man-eating shark that was over here. But don't worry, they caught him. See, there he is right over there. We just got the okay to come check out the beach. This is Amity Island. And Amity Island is beautiful. It's like the 4th of July every day over here. So let's just enjoy the ocean breeze, the gentle waves, and oh, that's a shark fin. Okay, well that's not good, because Officer George, that is our police diver, he is out there right now. George, you get on the water, just stay calm and keep swimming, and everything is going to be, oh no. George, no. Okay. Well, this is not good. But don't worry, we got a backup plan. So we're just going to remain seated and hang out here behind these gas tanks. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Let's all just remain seated though. Shark, and it is named after the actual mechanical shark that they used on the set of Jaws, which is named after Steven Spielberg's attorney. Really fitting. And Bruce was working pretty well, jumped up and said hello to all of you. The actual mechanical shark, though, that they used on Jaws, not so much. That bad boy, it corroded and sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean on their very first day of filming Jaws. Jaws was set to come out in the winter of 1974, came out in the summer of 1975, and their release anniversary is actually coming up. It's coming up next year. So June 20th, 19 2025, words are hard, that is going to be the 50th anniversary of Jaws coming up next year. And Jaws created the summer blockbuster. Before this, big budget films tended to come out at the end of the year, that way they could be in time for award season. Now, big budget films, thanks to Jaws, come out in summertime. So created the summer blockbuster, really fun trend. I don't say trend, it's still going on 50 years later. So. Well, friends, here's Al Roker to tell you a little bit about what you're about to see.
Well, when it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the Studio Tour way back in 1968.
Yeah, this is and the sprinklers spray the water right into the air, let it fall back down naturally. That is also a little Hollywood moment here in Midtown Live.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid!
Yeah, we'll see about that.
And so, friends, that takes us to the halfway mark of our studio tour. And just a quick reminder to please remain seated for the duration of the tour. And just, I already did my halfway spiel. We don't have to do that again. Well, friends, Paul Giamatti in that, he actually had what was called a stunt double in that scene. So a stunt double is pretty important because they are somebody who is specifically trained on how to handle those kind of movements and know how to specifically move and are trained just to avoid injury. And they're a pretty important part of filmmaking. And our Western sets are also no strangers over to stuntmen. Here, check it out. These are a sequence of barroom brawls that we have over here. So all of these scenes are very carefully choreographed, every punch, every kick. And I always like to point out this over here, this glass that's being broken, because this is a pretty important material. When this was first filmed, this in the 1960s, this was something called sugar glass. And it was because it was made out of sugar. It was very thin and it could break easily on top of or have the person break through the glass without injuring the person who it was being broken on or who was falling into it. Nowadays, we do still use this. It is called breakaway glass now. And a breakaway glass is made of a combination of resins that are, again, the same principle applies. It's a very easily breakable material. So just to let you know, it's a little different than sugar glass, but the principle is still there. And anytime that you see a chair or anything, bar stool that was broken, it was made out of lightweight balsa wood. And it's kind of fun here how you can see how we can decorate our Western sets to make them look like the Old West. There's going to be a lot of different things that are at play here. You're going to have the art department and the production team that are going to add in the signage and everything, the saloon sign, the boots and shoes that you're seeing over here on your screens. You're also going to have horses and carriages. The costume department is going to have to make sure that everybody is in Western style appropriate clothing that was appropriate for that time period to make sure that everything is accurate. And also the dirt. The dirt is actually not over in our Western sets. That is something that production has to provide and then haul it away when they're all done. It is a process that is called striking the set. I always like pointing out this last thing.
Mine was taller.
Because this is Kirk Douglas and John Wayne. Kirk Douglas, he stood at about 5'9", which is still, is still a pretty decently tall guy. But John Wayne stands at about 6'5", 6'7", I believe. He's a tall man. So they're the same height over here. How is that possible? Well, it's from apple boxes, something that's called a wood box that actors stand on top of to make them appear taller when they're on screen. And that's what Kirk Douglas is standing on top of this. So they kind of improvised this scene right over here. They are buddies, they were buddies off the screen. And this is from The War Wagon, which is a Universal film. It was actually filmed on location in Mexico. And in this scene, John Wayne improvises something because he knows Kirk Douglas is not going to be able to react the way that he wants. Check it out. He walks away because he knows Kirk Douglas has to be standing right there. So it's really fun just to see how all those features and all the hundreds of people that are also working behind the scenes are working together to bring the entertainment that we all enjoy, not only in our living rooms but also on the big screen as well. We're going to be seeing another view of our Amity Island. We are not going to be seeing Jaws again up close. We're going to be seeing him kind of from far away. And this set, it is also was seen in a TV show called Murder, She Wrote, pretty popular television show. It is streaming on Peacock, all 12 seasons of that, starring the late, great Angela Lansbury. And they made this the town of Cabot Cove. And Steven Spielberg did help design this attraction. He's going to tell you about that.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the trap. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
And we are currently on Steven Spielberg Drive, one of the longest here on our studio lot, because we've had a very long relationship with Steven Spielberg. He's going to tell you about that.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. It was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
And these are picture cards that you see here on the left. A couple of them are from some Steven Spielberg films that he produced, was for Jurassic World and also the Flintstones movie. And Bumblebee, my personal favorite Transformer. Well, this is fitting because they are about to open up a haunted house that is going to go right through these iconic sets from the 1960 film Psycho. That was the Bates Motel, and even our Hollywood sign is getting in on the action. We're taking this psychopath up to see our Psycho house up close and personal. Now, Psycho came out in 1960, and Alfred Hitchcock, again known as the master of suspense, he really wanted audiences to experience this from beginning to end. So no late admittance were allowed into Psycho. If you came in late, you had to wait for the next showing of Psycho. So Alfred Hitchcock was just very specific with the way that he wanted people to experience this film. No spoilers.
Are watching me? Well, I think see what kind of a person I am.
And from one iconic set straight to the next. This is our War of the World set that was built in a 2005 film directed by Steven Spielberg. And the production designer for this was Rick Carter, who also worked with Steven Spielberg doing Jurassic Park. So they worked together before creating these worlds. And they really are. I'll tell you a little bit about this set.
The airplane crash was perfect set that was all designed around sit down and talk about war. I thought, what if it's like what Jen did down right in a big movie? Because it's just something you don't see. It's your pleasure, guys, okay? Closed?
Robbie, get in. Get in.
And that was a real 747 that they destroyed specifically for this film. They brought it over here from the Mojave Desert. And now we are 10 minutes away from the end of our tour. We're going to be returning to the main park here shortly. So just another reminder, please remain seated, and if you ever need any assistance, reach out and have that ready. So we've worked with a lot of iconic directors. Alfred Hitchcock, Steven Spielberg, another is Academy Award-winning director Jordan Peele, and we have just entered the actual sets for Jordan Peele's latest sci-fi thriller, Nope. Welcome, friends, to Jupiter's Claim.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. Nostalgic, small-time, Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky June Park. Over there, look into the winking well. Have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Cheer. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? But a little further down, you can see the brand new Starlight Studio. Welcome to the world of no.
Lost power there for a second. I don't really know why, but you know, it's time for us to get out. So we brought these sets over from Agua Dulce, which is where they filmed Nope on location, and brought them over here to our studio lot because Jordan Peele really wanted to put you right in the middle of his latest sci-fi movie. And we're actually going to do that again for the grand finale of our studio tour. We're going to be putting you right in the middle of one of our Fast and the Furious films. I have a little backstory for you. There is an undercover witness who is here on this tram, and we need to keep them safe. But don't worry, Dominic Toretto and his crew, they're going to help us out by letting us hang out here inside of Sullivan's garage, because Owen Shaw, international criminal, is after us. Alright. Here's Roman Pierce to fill you in.
Hey, you! They just got here. Alright, I got it. But listen, hello, beautiful people, particularly you right there next to the third row. How you doing? My name is Roman Pierce. Nice to meet you. Buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you with Sean for a while. Brought you in our secret spot. We're having a few friends over, it's a little messy.
Pierce. Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move.
Him?
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not...
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. You got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Oh. How about you just clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours.
Hobbs, escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss.
You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of something.
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back.
Man.
It was on vibrate. Shaw tricked us. Ops can't hold him forever. Levy, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle. It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Levy ready to roll.
Haven't already. Now is the time to put on those 3D glasses.
This is our turn. Okay, guys, it's showtime. I got the bull by the horn! Now we're moving.
Don't think you're getting away! Come in the drones!
Where to go, buddy? Drone's lining up the missile shot! Not gonna happen! Don't worry, I got it! Roman, don't shoot! Head for the bridge! Under construction! Everybody hold on! Hit the nitrous!
You're all officially part of the family.
Let's go.
That was the grand finale to our studio tour. To help bring it on home, here's Jimmy Fallon.
The studio tour is taking guests on an amazing behind-the-scenes look at a movie studio in a way that only Universal can. I hope that you had a great time today, and on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, thank you for joining us to celebrate our diamond anniversary. Here's to another 60 years.
Thanks, Jimmy. And thank you for celebrating 60 years of our studio tour with us. Our 60th anniversary is really special to us because this is where it all began for Universal destinations and experiences. We started with only 2 glamour trains traveling around the lot in the summer of 1964. We've grown into so much more. And we continue to grow because we have the Universal Epic Universe that's opening up next year in 2025. And For the past 100 years, Universal has been entertaining audiences all around the world, whether it be in movie theaters or in their living rooms. And you are now a part of our story, as we just showed you a little bit of behind-the-scenes action. So I hope you enjoyed this studio tour here today that not only talks about the people in front of the camera, but the hundreds of people behind the scenes who really help bring everything together. To our pass holders who are with us, thank you for joining us. And if you want to go upgrade over to an annual pass, then head over to the Universal box office to find out how you can upgrade your ticket. We do have a pretty nifty app if you haven't already downloaded it. It's called the Universal Studios Hollywood app. It's just a great way to stay on top of showtimes, wait times, and our park hours. We close tonight at 6 p.m. and then starts our Halloween Horror Nights experience, which is a separately ticketed event. And if you're interested in any of the movies or TV shows I talked about here today, check out uphe.com or any of our retail stores to find out more. Well, friends, we are heading over to unload right now. Once again, my name is Summer, and special thank you over to Amanda, our driver, for getting us back over to our theme park. And just do a double check right now. Make sure that you have all your belongings, any cell phones or anything. Just make sure that they're all tucked away. I don't want you to leave them behind. And we are heading over to unload. So just as you watch your step as you exit the tram, and as you exit, there is a place to drop off those